The NCAA is apologizing for a disparity in equipment and facilities after women's basketball players brought the issue up on social media. That video speaking for itself. Our JOCELYN McCall talked with a local athlete about her experience.
So for the NCAA March Madness, the biggest tournament in college basketball for women, this is our weight room. Let me show y'all the men's weight room.
The difference is what some call stark and unacceptable. The NCAA originally tried to write it off due to limited space.
Here's our practice court, right? And then here's that weight room. And then here's all this extra space.
Local athletes say their initial reaction wasn't just shock, but disbelief.
Honestly, I didn't think it was real. Like I was looking at it and I just thought it was kind of crazy to think that it could be that much of a difference between the men's tournament and the women's.
GVSU junior guard Brooke McKinley says she's never seen such scarce training equipment when her tournaments have taken the team on the road.
It's disheartening, and I feel like women deserve better.
As a female athlete, Brooke continues to hear the stereotypes that women's sports are less important.
And I mean, I've experienced it just like tournaments and stuff, or just like casual conversations with people. It's like, oh, well, you play women's basketball, like acting like it's not an accomplishment when it really is.
Brooke says that at GVSU, she does feel that the athletes from both the men and the women's teams are treated equally, something leaders in Michigan are working towards, like Secretary of State JOCELYN Benson as chair of the Task Force on Women in Sports.
And our goal is to recommend a series of policies and investments and incentives that the governor can promote to create more pathways for women in sports as leaders, as athletes, and as advocates for equality.
Just today, Secretary Benson spoke with the governor to highlight the video in a fight for the future generations and future leaders.
If you play sports, you're more likely to become a leader in any industry later on if you're a woman. And yet that vehicle is not equally open to women as it is to men.
Benson says the victory here is the mistake was acknowledged, with the NCAA issuing an apology saying, "We fell short this year in what we have been doing to prepare for the past 60 days for 64 teams to be here in San Antonio," leaving female athletes optimistic this is the spark to equalize women's sports.
It kind of fires me up, and I feel like I'd want to work harder now just to prove people wrong.
In Grand Rapids, JOCELYN McCall, Fox 17 News.
And the weight room has now added equipment for the women's team. Secretary Benson says she is working on recommendations to the governor to advance opportunities for women in sports.